Saludazo para todos ustedes que me están viendo. Oh, mira, estoy transmitiendo entonces hasta la página, esta página de aquí. Vamos a ver aquí. Estoy transmitiendo la página, déjame ver aquí, Facebook. Un saludo. Facebook. Ahora sí que estoy bien, estás apalabrado, mi compa. Vamos a ver aquí, un saludito para todos ustedes. Vamos a ver quién me está viendo. ¿Quién me está viendo? Vamos a ver quién me está viendo por ahí. Saludo para todos ustedes que me están viendo en cualquiera de las redes sociales. En cualquiera de las redes sociales. Gracias por compartir, Gracias por compartir. Estoy viendo que están compartiendo algunos de ustedes. Muchas gracias por compartirme. Vamos a ver ahí. Ándale, estoy transmitiendo. Ahí estoy haciendo una transmisión en vivo. Saludos para. Vamos a ver a quién. Saludos para Patti, para Sebastián Hernández, para Luis Negrete y para Marta. Guarda capullito de rosas. Dice que share now public. Share. Vamos a ver. Le voy a pedir a ustedes que también compartan. Ya lo estoy compartiendo ahí en este momento. Muchas gracias a todos los que están. Bombón Hernández, se te extraña aquí en Austin. Gracias, mi reina. Pues yo también los extraño. Oye, saludos cordiales para ustedes y para todos los que me están viendo en este momento a través de las redes sociales. Digo, a través de las redes sociales. Gracias a gracias a todos ustedes. Imágenes inéditas en los últimos 3 años. Bueno, saludos para todos ustedes aquí, desde esta magnífica ciudad. Wow. Bueno, pues estoy compartiendo todos con todos el video. Saludazos para todos ustedes en este momento. Déjame ver quién está ahí. Ah, qué caray. Oh, qué caray. Ahí está. Y le voy a compartir. Saludos cordiales para ustedes y para. Vamos a ver. Saludos desde Guadalajara. Saludos desde Guadalajara. Share. Yo nomás lo voy a compartir. O share to a page. Bueno. Saludazo. Por así que bárbaro.
And so any exploration of the whistleblower's credibility would indeed be unprecedented. Dangerous, too.
Well, first of all, I've got bad news for Andy. Cross-examination in this case, JJ.
Hernández para Luis. Magnífica ciudad. Wow. Bueno, pues estoy compartiendo todos con todos. Saludazos para todos ustedes en este.
This type of plan allows you to keep your doctor as long as he or she accepts Medicare patients. And 3, these are the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP. Learn more about why you should choose an AARP Medicare supplement plan. Call today for a free guide. It's time to get creative with business cards as unique as you at this print. Now introducing free shipping on all business cards. And style and quantity. Free shipping on all business cards is promo code CDI only now with Discipline.
Stay updated, stay informed with up-to-date reviews and analysis. There's only one place for it all. CNN.com/engagement. CNN special report on the brink when a person faced circumstances tomorrow night.
Coming up with the radar channel, flying Kansas. The new speculation of the Mike Pompeo Senate rush today. The Secretary of State did his own with Kansas for the fourth time this year. The Secretary of State is in Wichita, which he represented in Congress before joining the Trump administration. Secretary Pompeo and Ivanka Trump visiting the Aviation Training Center over the roundtable on education and business leaders. As for that possible Senate run, Secretary Pompeo said he's still very much focused on his job at the State Department. The House Ethics Committee says it's now investigating President Democratic Congressman Katie Hill. The allegations that Hill had an inappropriate sexual relationship with one of her congressional staffers, Captain Ohio, with House rules. Hill denied any affair with Graham Kelly, the current legislative director. She did, however, admit to a separate extramarital relationship with a female campaign staffer prior to taking office. And the Congress Secretary will go off now in the investigation for possible misuse of the private email account. The National Archives and Records Administration says it launched this probe after the Washington Post revealed Rothstein's personal account for government business on numerous occasions. Up next, a look.
Month after month, I'm doing it all. The supplements, veggies, the water, and I still have recurring constipation, belly pain, swelling, and bloating. My doctor said I've got a real medical condition called IBS-C.
For my recurring constipation and belly pain from IBS-C, I said yes to Linzess. When Linzess treats adults with IBS with constipation, Linzess is not a laxative. It works for them. It helps relieve belly pain and lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements. Do not give to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. It may be helpful to develop a medium or severe stomach pain, especially with diarrhea black foods. The most common side effect is diarrhea.
Hello everybody, welcome to the TeacherCast Educational Network. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for joining us today and making TeacherCast. Everything that's going on over at the Wirecast channel. Great stuff here. Of course, just to go over some of the few new features of Wirecast 9. First of all, if you're looking to use point, tilt, zoom cameras, they've got full support for that. They've got support for X keys. But my favorite two things here is it's got support for new source menus. It's an amazingly new system here for you to add cameras, add shots, change.
Gatitas hermosas, que son muy chiquititas, ve, gatitas hermosas.
Change things around, and I love the way that this looks. My favorite feature here has to be the new paired encoder for Facebook. The fact that you can have somebody that you're working with broadcast from an event directly to your Facebook page, literally with just a passcode. Awesome new stuff here. Of course, other great things that we have here in Wirecast 9, an updated new blue titler live, other great things here, some virtual sets, all those different things that are going on here. But I want to also bring over everything that's happening here on the right side of the menu. This here is Documents. Now, many of us are using Wirecast for multiple projects. This year is where you're going to start to manage all of those things. So I always want to start off here by showing off an empty document, but you can see here I have a Wirecast document for things happening this month on my live shows over on teachercast.tv. And then also here, this was a TeacherCast shot that I did for a recent podcast. So what we're going to do here is we are going to click on empty document and take a look inside of Wirecast 9. Okay, so here we are in a blank document in Wirecast 9. I want to show you a little bit about how this works. First of all, we're going to open up here in two panes, the left and the right. You can see everything on the left says preview. Everything on the right is your live broadcast. Now you can switch this back and forth by using these buttons up on the right. This button here by default is on 2, meaning you have a green and a red. Green, of course, is preview. Red, of course, is live. If I click here, I'm just going to see the preview window. This is the stuff that is going to be happening, meaning not the stuff that's live. I can set up shots. I can change titles. We have a plus button. As we click on this plus button, this brings up the brand new system switcher. We can choose different things to add to our lists. We can do video capture, and you can see here, it's got all of our video capture items. And another new feature here, which is really, really cool, is the ability to star and put a favorite on it. If we have for instance here, I've got 2 C920 cameras, I can say I always want to use number 2, because maybe that's the front camera. So I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to click on that because I know that's the one that we want to be using. We can also choose all of our audio capture. You can see I've got quite a few different audio capture units, sound cards, etc. for my mixer and for the other microphones that I have. We can, of course, bring in things from a network. Wirecast has an amazing iOS app called Wirecast Go. I definitely recommend anybody checking that out. It is a free download on iOS. You can add as many iOS cameras as you could do it. I always suggest if you're a school, take your iPads, take your iPhones, put them out on the basketball court. Now suddenly you've got 10 different shots and camera angles that you can have one teacher in the back controlling on a master desktop with Wirecast. Of course, we've got screen capture. We can do what's called remote desktop presenter, which means we're going to actually be grabbing the screen, audio, video, whatever we have, from a completely different computer and bringing it into Wirecast. That's an amazing feature. We have screen capture here, and we have siphon frame. I'm not exactly sure what that one does, but a free download on iOS. You can add as many iOS cameras as you could do it. I always suggest if you're a school, take your iPads, take your iPhones, put them out on the basketball court. Now suddenly you've got 10 different shots and camera angles that you can have one teacher in the back controlling on a master desktop with Wirecast. Of course, we've got screen capture. We can do what's called remote desktop presenter, which means we're going to actually be grabbing the screen, audio, video, whatever we have, from a completely different computer and bringing it into Wirecast. That's an amazing feature. We have screen capture here, and we have siphon frame. I'm not exactly sure what that one does, but I do want to mention that screen capture is pretty awesome, especially if you have multiple monitors. So you can always, either show off a website as you're broadcasting live, or you can draw a box around like we used to do it, drawing a box in a Google Hangout and then bringing that video in. Moving down the list here, we have different overlays. We can bring on a clock, a scoreboard, we can add text, a Twitter feed. Some of these features are only available in the Pro version of Wirecast 9, so if you don't see yours, that might be the reason why, but we can always bring in, again, a score clock or a scoreboard. These are great, again, especially if you're going to be broadcasting live events. Here we have our backgrounds. We can do a web display, solid color, or virtual sets. Again, some of these options are available only for the Pro users. Like the virtual set, I believe, is just a Pro user. But to have a solid color or a web display, you can certainly do there. Here we have our shots, right? We can do a new shot, playlist shot. A playlist shot is essentially if you have multiple videos, I would say that. So maybe you've got 3 different videos you want to use for your intro. You can now put those all into a playlist, and it'll play automatically. That way you don't have to worry about clicking. We used to do that a lot here on Teacher Cash with intros and outros and stuff like that. And then a replay shot is a feature I really haven't used, although that is a feature on the Wirecast Pro. But you can have replays where essentially it says, I want to replay everything from here back 30 seconds, right? So if, in other words, if you're doing a sporting event, you can certainly look at that. Again, here we have our favorites, and then here is all of our devices. And I like that they've got the little triangles here where you can go in and out to kind of get more of a granular thing. So let's see. First things first, let's add a camera. Now I'm going to add a camera. I'm going to add this Wirecast camera here. I'm just going to click on Add. Now you can see right here, I still have this up here. This hasn't changed. Well, why hasn't this changed? This hasn't changed
¿Estás
because
por ahí?
this is the
A ver si te puedo
screen
poner.
that is live. We don't have anything live yet. If I click on the green, here's the preview. Hello, here I am. And if I click on the double, now again, I've got the preview and I've got the live window. How do I resize these? So I can grab this here right in the middle. I can drag this up. I can drag this down. I can certainly resize everything depending on how much real estate I am looking for. And I have my audio here. And so if I want again, I can clear the layer. No audio. Here I have it. And I've got my audio. Now, this little button down here is for my headphones. If I'm clicking on this, I don't know if you can hear this yet while I'm recording this, but I'm now getting a little bit of an echo because I'm actually hearing what my audio is. This button here controls the volume. I can, notice, is it all the way down? There's no audio coming up. As I release this, now the audio is able to flow. So, how do I go from preview window into the real window over here on the right side of the screen?
Okay,
Right here, we have 3 buttons. We have 2 transitions, and we have 1 playhead. So right here, I'm going to hit cut and smooth. Now, cut is exactly what it is. Automatically moves over. Let's see how that works. I'm going to hit cut, and we're going to see this automatically pop up. 3, 2, 1, and there is my video. Now, let's clear that here. And here I am, again on my screen. I'm going to hit smooth. 3, 2, 1. And there you can see it dissolves. And really, those are the only transitions I ever find myself using. But if you want to see more, there is a drop-down handle where you can go through a ton of these different ones. Let's try 3D plane here. Notice, all you have to do is move this. And you'll notice how that just flew in right there. So check this out one more time over here on the right. Yep, that was fun. All right, so back over here we have our shot layers. If I wanted to, I can see my little eyeball. I can click this on. I can click this off. Is my video. Now let's clear that here. And here I am again on my screen. I'm going to hit smooth. 3, 2, 1. And there you can see it dissolves. And really, those are the only transitions I ever find myself using. But if you want to see more, there is a drop-down handle where you can go through a ton of these different ones. Let's try 3D plane here. Notice, all you have to do is move this. And you'll notice how that just flew in right there. So check this out one more time over here on the right. Yep, that was fun. All right, so back over here we have our shot layers. If I wanted to, I can see my little eyeball. I can click this on. I can click this off. So in other words, if it's clicked off, I can click it off like that. I can also turn this on and off if I want my audio. Notice the audio stops bouncing here. That's really the basics for what we're doing here. If I wanted to, I can take this video layer and put it above the audio layer by doing this. Now, there's nothing that's affecting this right now, but once we get to add more shots, we can certainly do that. Now, let's go to the next pane here. This is our shot layer properties. Now we have our position, which right now it's 0 by 0, but one of the things that happened, I believe it was on Wirecast 8, is that I can now drag this all around. And you'll see if I drag this over here, our position changes. So I can move this anywhere that I want to. I can even grab the handle up here. And look, I can shrink this down. That's pretty darn cool. And all of these things change. You can see right now I'm at 25% scaled, and now I'm at 15. I can change the X rotation. Look, it's like I'm in Superman as one of the villains. I can also change the Y over here. So lots of stuff that I can do with this. Of course, I can change the Z. Yep, this does look like I'm Lord Zod General Zod in one of the Superman movies. I can, of course, change the opacity. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. I can change the opacity, and if I wanted to, I can add a reflection. Now, lots of stuff there, but let's just go to reset position, because I want to show you one more that I don't see a lot of people using. If I come over here, see there, the reflection's still on. I can change the matte. M-A-T-T-E. So what I can do here is I can say I want this with rounded edges. Let's pull the reflection down here. So I now have rounded edges. That's going to come in handy in a little bit here. But I can also say I want to be an oval. So there's a lot of neat things that we can do here if we really want to, or we can simply scale to fit, reset position, and change the matte to no matte. So now we're back to this nice square. Over here I have pool, and all of these things change. You can see right now I'm at 25% scaled. I want to be an oval. So there's a lot of neat things that we can do here if we really want to, or we can simply scale to fit, reset position, and change the matte to no matte. So now we're back to this nice square. Over here I have crop. I can always crop. There I go. No! Okay. Oh, there we go. Everybody out there watching on YouTube say, ooh. And I see I can change the opacity, blur size, all that great stuff. So, yeah, that's not a good transition. Anyway, let's come over here to cut. And one thing about this bar, I'll just kind of stop here. These little arrows, I can always add. Most you can have is 7. And this but if I wanted to, I can have one audio on one track, one audio on another track. This comes in super handy when you have a lot of people map out some audio channels. This is really cool. These little arrows, I can always add more screen real estate. That's really, really important, right? I can add more screen real estate by doing this. All right, the next thing over here is the audio properties. You can see here that I can map out some audio channels. This is really cool, right? Like this is a mixer inside of Wirecast. I don't know all the details about this, but I can basically say, look, here's my 2 channels, and right now I have them all on the same track. But if I wanted to, I can have one audio on one track, one audio on another track. This comes in super handy when you have a lot of people on the track. I think the most you can have is 7, I believe. I might be slightly off by that. But I think with the pro users, the most you can have is 7. And this certainly comes in handy, being able to use all of these features. All right, here we are back in Wirecast, so we can, of course, change the audio volume, pan, meter, all those different things. The next button over here is Chroma Key, and I can't really show you that Chroma Key other than if I click on Use Chroma Key, you'll notice it kind of got a little bit grainier in here. If I change the threshold, of course, if I had a green screen background behind me, you'll get the idea better. But I can certainly try and play with all these different things. You'll notice here on my white shirt, I kind of wore this on purpose here. I can change work on that one a little bit here. So video delay. That's kind of interesting. I haven't played with that one much, but sometimes your audio and your video are a bit delayed. Maybe you're on a Hangout call or something. Again, I've been using Wirecast for a long time. Awesome program, never needed to use that. Video settings. This is one that you're going to want to know where it is. Quite often, when I turn on Wirecast for the first time, my webcams are a little out of focus, a little wonky or so. And so all I do is I go into the video settings and I make sure that they are on 1280 by 720.
12.770.